welcome back to PGF Racing. Going to pick up on part 3 of when was the kingdom established, and going to argue for a preterist view, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. So in the preterist view, Jesus' kingdom starts at his birth and it grows forever, the preterist view. So we're going to look at some verses that support this idea and see, hopefully, if we become more of one mind and can agree. I previously showed that there are 5 different views, and I adopted the full preterist view. So I am open to partial preterists, but in Daniel 2:44, in the time of those kings, the God of heaven will set up a kingdom. So we know that he sets up the kingdom at the time of those kings. So we have to figure out who are those kings, or how do we know which kings to pick. And it will never be destroyed, and no other nation will ever take it over. It will crush all of those other kingdoms. It will bring them to an end, but it will last forever. Now, some of the things I want you to note is that it's set up during the kings. It will never be destroyed. No nation will ever take it over. So to me, that indicates there are other nations that could take it over, but won't. It will also crush the other kingdoms, and it will bring them to an end, meaning that Christ's kingdom will rule forever or last forever. So Jesus is believed to be born in 5 BC to 1 AD, depending on your source. So we're going to establish that. Now we're going to look at some verses. We're going to go to Isaiah 9:6-7, and we're going to look at 3 different versions of the Bible. We're going to look at the NIRV, the NIV, and a literal translation to show that the NIRV and NIV are accurate. A child will be born to us. A son will be given to us. He will rule over us. So see, the child rules. His kingdom starts when he's born, and he'll be called Wonderful Advisor and Mighty God. He'll also be called Father who lives forever and Prince who brings peace. The authority of his rule will continue to grow. So his authority, his rule, his power from his birth continues to grow on and on and on forever and ever. The peace he brings will never end. He will rule on David's throne and over his kingdom. He'll make the kingdom strong and secure. His rule will be based on what is fair and right. It will last forever. The Lord's great love will make sure that happens. He rules over all. So now let's look at the NIV. For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders. So it's on the child. And he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Now remember, Herod wanted to get rid of Jesus even as he was born, because he recognized him as a king even as a child. Of the greatness of his government and peace there shall be no end. He will reign on David's throne and over his kingdom, over the kingdom, and establishing and upholding it with justice and righteousness from that time on and forever. So when he's born, from that time on and forever, Jesus will reign on or over his kingdom. The zeal of the Lord Almighty will accomplish this. Now let's look at a Young's literal translation. And to the increase of the princely power and the peace there is no end, on the throne of David and on his kingdom, to establish it and support it in judgment and righteousness. Henceforth, meaning from this time when he's born, even unto the age, meaning forever, the zeal of Jehovah of hosts doth this. So he will reign forever from his birth, forever and ever, Jesus will reign. So now let's just go back and look. We established that Jesus was born 5 BC to 1 AD, depending on your source. So now we need to ask who was reigning, because remember, it's set up during the time of those kings. So who was reigning then? And the king was the very first Roman emperor, ruled from 27 BC until his death in AD 14, was Augustus. So the kings that are being referred to are the Roman emperors. And Augustus, born Gaius Octavius, was granted the title Augustus by the Roman Senate, marking the beginning of his reign, the establishment of the Roman Empire. Before this, he was known as Octavian and had been part of the Second Triumvirate, which governed Rome after the assassination of Julius Caesar. And then Augustus ruled until his death on August 19, AD 14. His long reign, lasting 41 years, was marked by relative peace known as the Pax Romana, Roman peace, a significant expansion and consolidation of the empire. So we need to keep this in mind. The peace, also that he reigned the longest, 41 years. We'll see some other stuff about this and the kings, but just want to kind of establish some groundwork for this, that the kings being referred to in Daniel 24, when the kingdom is set up, remember it grows and grows and gets better and stronger over time, is set up at his birth under the Roman Empire. Hope this helps. As always, love you lots. PGF Racing out. Have a great day. Take care.